All right, let's try this. Let's see how we're doing. Audio check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bomb. Get an early bomb. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feels good. Okay. Let's get started. I wanted to start earlier today, but I got a little delay, but I'm super excited to get started today. I had to leave off sort of halfway through. Let me try to follow my kind of guidance of review. Or like sort of within the first couple of minutes so that people can kind of see what, if anyone watches this later, they can see the quick idea. And yesterday was a bit weird because I had to stop and go run an errand that I didn't know about. So I had to stop in the middle. Let's do the quick review and then I'll jump in. So we're building Chatfield. We've been building Chatfield for a long time. Well, not a truly long time, but been working on this as a major part of my just open source enjoyment. Chatfield is a form, like an HTML form, something like that. And where your application needs to collect some kind of key information, usually from humans, from people. However, we're doing it as a conversation rather than as a two-dimensional graphical user interface. If you like, the user interface is conversational rather than graphical. And we're making forms. And so with Chatfield, you can use natural conversation. Your application can use natural conversation to ask these questions that need answers, and then also to validate the answers, and then furthermore, to transform them into any sort of data object or anything you need. So for example, if a user says 5K in some sort of answer of theirs, Chatfield's very easily can convert that to an integer in this example. If they say yes and you need a Boolean, Chatfield can convert that to your Boolean. And that's what these transformations mean. So that's Chatfield. So let's review. Yesterday, really, actually great progress, great unlocks, a lot of mystery solved yesterday. But I checked in zero code and it messed up my my journal, my diary here a bit. And I like to say these videos are not really meant to be specifically entertaining or dense, but rather to capture every moment, every keystroke of this work, so that there is no quiet offline work where I'm secretly preparing something brilliant or anything like that. Every moment is captured as much as possible. So one exception yesterday, I did realize what happened. I said, hey, give me a summary of what happened yesterday. And because I never committed any work into the project, because I was troubleshooting all morning, there was nothing for it to do. And I was in a rush and I read it. So just very quickly after that, I told it to do October 7th. And it still said there's nothing to do. Yeah, it still said there's nothing to do. So I have a small bug with my updates. And then finally I told it there are no commits, but I have a plan and blah, blah, blah. And it picked all of that up. So finally we did get a diary entry. So this is what happened yesterday. And here's the plan for today. Let's read it. No commits made. That's correct. I worked for like an hour and a half. But I got a lot of progress. I was basically able to open up LangGraph and search through its own source code and search through all of this implementation of this problem that I've got and learn a lot about that. And ask Claude Code about LangGraph code. I got Claude Code in the LangGraph project, digging in and learning about it and helping me plan. And so I think there's a decent plan here, which came out. Yeah, LangGraph's internal state management. So today, what we're going to try to do is this interrupt implementation. The reason is with this interrupt done, give or takes just some bugs or some paper cuts or something, we will really genuinely have the vision, which was both a Python and a TypeScript implementation of the same library, the same package. And furthermore, because it's TypeScript, we can now say Python running on the server is there. The three major, operational modes: Python running in the server, TypeScript running in a server situation, but then furthermore, TypeScript running in a browser situation. I want to run Chatfield in a browser, and we have massive progress there. There's a LLM, which I can run so that Chatfield can query my LLM securely, and all of this stuff with light LLM. And so the browser's the final kind of big blocker or big, like, massive, gap, massive bug. And so this interrupt is the reason it's not working. Interrupts only run on the server is the short lesson that I learned. And so I made a big plan to kind of solve the same problems as the this server-side interrupt implementation. Maybe have a little, because it's browser, my kind of plan is have a more modest kind of requirements. Let's get some coffee going. For example, it's out of scope to have like long-term permanent storage of state in the browser, on the browser side. That's potentially something that could come later. But for the moment, I just wanted to say, what is your favorite number? And I could say 99, and it can say, good. The factors of 99 are, 11 and 9 or whatever. I just want Chatfield to work end to end. And so there's a ton of what's this, the plan for tomorrow. So I'm not 100% familiar with some of this stuff, but yeah. Oh my God, they're telling me to fork LangGraph, but we'll follow the spirit of this plan. So let's get into it. That's the plan for today. Let's get into it. So that's the plan, right? Let's go see, what did I leave uncommitted? I'm importing stuff. I think that didn't work. Oh yeah, it's commented out. It didn't work. That's a little to do. And then there's my theory was nodes receive this hidden second config object as a parameter, and I believe this config object is sufficient for me to, to implement this interrupt function. The major issue is, well, let me see. If I go to like my interviewer, if I go to the interrupt usage, right here. So what interrupt does is, so here's a node. And interrupt will stop processing of the node. Furthermore, you can pass information, the interrupt can return some information. For example, what I use it is, this is the message that the LLM has produced, which must be rendered to the, to the user. That's this interrupt. And the way it works internally is it will stop. It is called twice, but it only returns once. You call this interrupt function in your node, and if there is no update, if the user has not if the user has not, yeah, this is the user's message because we're listening. So this is the user's message. So the first time this runs through, the user has not seen the feedback. So how could the user possibly respond? And the answer is this interrupt pauses execution and sends this feedback sort of back up to the higher level application. And then that application can render that feedback, render that message, and collect user input, this user update. And then effectively, the application can then restart the processing of this graph. And then this listen node, in fact, it will re-execute. It will execute twice. It's a little bit tricky, but, and then when it re-executes, the thing is, the user's update is now known. It's ready. And so when this function runs the second time, the answer to this feedback is known. And so synchronously, the interrupt function just simply returns the update. So it's kind of got a Streamlit feel, kind of like Streamlit, like we're reevaluating, but there's just new computations popping out of these functions for every reevaluation. It's this kind of Streamlit or React kind of like re-rendering, kind of mindset. So that's why interrupt is called twice, but it returns once. It's actually implemented by throwing an exception in the real processing. So the first time I run this, internally this interrupt will throw an exception, and then elsewhere LangGraph will catch that for me and just do the right thing. And then the second run through, it will not throw the exception and it will just return. So it's kind of bizarre. So that's this interrupt process. And then of course, to implement this interrupt, LangGraph wants to store a bunch of state. It's got to stop processing the graph. So we have to sort of sync. We have to write everything to disk, if you like, save the state of this graph, because, potentially a user might not feedback for hundreds of years. They could sit at that prompt, right? It's asynchronous, if you want to think about it that way, or it's event driven. So that's why my understanding, LangGraph wants to write that state out, wants to sync out that state. And then for reasons I'm a little bit less clear, it's just not doable. There's no like browser implementation. Now, so here's what I learned yesterday that I have to solve. Like I could do this, const. Right, that's not right actually. This is allowed in a graph, a node. I could do as many interrupts as I like. And so now if you think, well, how would that be implemented? The answer is, well, each call somehow needs to be uniquely known or identified. That first call has its first, because in fact, I said interrupt will be called twice, but return once. Well, that's for each interrupt function, that's the logic. But if you look here, this first one, this would throw, and then the user would give feedback, and this would return. Then for the first time, the second one would run, it would throw, the user would give feedback, and it would return. And so, but when this thing throws, this thing has returned. So in other words, in the first execution, the first interrupt throws. In the second execution, the first interrupt returns, and then the second interrupt throws. In the third execution, the first interrupt returns, the second interrupt also returns, and now for the first time, the third interrupt throws. And then in the fourth, is it? Yes. Invocation, execution, all three return, and we proceed. So if you imagine implementing that, these interrupts need to kind of know, my recollection is they just remember, oh, I'm the first one, I'm the second one, I'm the third one. And so they have an array of answers. and that's how they know. That's how they memorize the return value. Okay, and so then the final thing though is, well, okay, and then of course if I run an interrupt in a different node, a node not named listen, a different node, well, of course those interrupts should not touch each other. They should be independent. They should be isolated from each other. Whatever interrupts are being, stopping or being stored or memoized in node A should be kind of irrelevant for node B. So what that means is it's like, well, my interrupt ID is in fact my node name and also the execution number, right? So it's the listen, it's the first interrupt of the listen node, which is like so the address or the true, ID of that value. It's the second interrupt of the listen node. Okay, so that's fine. If we think about implementing interrupt, to support that, there might be some kind of global, like this is why there was storage. There's like a global, data structure, and it's tracking, it's memoizing these values keyed on the node name, and then let's say the execution ID. It could be a UUID. It could be like a random one. Could potentially work as well. Okay, but here's the next problem. Subgraphs. So I think this is a big, I have not used them much myself yet, but I can imagine this is a massive, massive advantage of Pregel and of LangGraph, which is these subgraphs. And so what that means is potentially there are other graphs running which are just subgraphs of mine, or maybe I am a subgraph of a larger graph. I could imagine Chatfield might be a subgraph of a larger graph. That'd be nice. I don't think it's plug and play ready now, but that seems cool. That seems likely to be good architecture. And so with subgraphs, a subgraph might have a node named listen. And we also don't want collisions. I don't want a subgraph to do some interrupts, and then my graph does some interrupts. And because both nodes are named listen, they are colliding in the storage or in the memory or in the global. So that's my understanding of the kind of implementation of the listen function is, if you like, the true compound key, the primary key of an interrupt, like return value, is it's kind of like this. It's it's like graph / subgraph, like address or something, ID, let's say, comma node name, comma interrupt call number. It's like that. That's the key. And so in other words, graph or subgraph. So in this specific example, if we're just running the test suite, maybe the top level graph has an empty string, and then the node name would be exactly listen and then 0. And then for the subsequent call, it would be listen. It would be listen 1, listen 2, like that. But then potentially if there are subgraphs, this would be some other ID. Yeah, exactly. That's why. And then it could even be sub, it could be arbitrarily deep. That gives us this namespace. And then, for any graph, the nodes have unique names. For example, listen. And then for any node, the interrupts have unique call sequences, call IDs, call sequence numbers, whatever you want to call it. That is how we can identify one of these values, and then actually stopping execution and things like that, I think it should be somewhat okay. That seemed to be portable from the other code. So let's get into that. Whew, I'm gonna need coffee. This is intense. So that's the way this feedback works here, right? Interrupt. So let's delete these interrupts here. So here's my interrupt message. Let's see, debugger. No, wait, let me pull that back. Copy. Paste. Paste. Okay. So, I still want coffee. Okay. I'll just keep this kind of random note here. Okay, so we throw. I remember. The idea was we need to pass in a config object. Whoops. I don't think that config object is good. Thread ID, no. LLM config, nope. That's not the same thing. Dangerous endpoint. Thread ID. Oh, interesting. Okay. So here's this object. It's of type any. I was hoping to get a better. This is of type any. Oh, this wrapper function, right? I wonder why that even is in there. Okay. Config. Get state. This.graph.get state. Okay. Config thread ID. Oh, look, stream. So there's the graph input. So that's the one that would be null when we continue. Interesting. So here's the command. We'll have to see if that works. Resume. Could work. Could work. It works that way with the server side. Okay, so I want to know what that config data type is, but that's fine. I can find it. So here's the listen node. We received the config object. Let's pass it. We'll pass it to the interrupt function here, and then we'll take the config. That's fine. Node interrupt message. Yep. Okay, let's log it out. Okay. So that's an interrupt. So let's just go look. I haven't even read the plan yet. There's a massive plan. Tomorrow plan. Let's just see it. Here. Can I just preview maybe? Browser compatible interrupt. Task IDs exist. Right, so this is this kind of namespacing thing. They're generated during every task execution via UUID 5. The existing interrupt is Node.js only, not exported due to async local storage dependency. We know that. Required data is in the config parameter. So let's see if that's right. It could be hallucinating on me or just wrong a bit. Node functions receive config as a second parameter. And then so this node here is totally different from Node.js. Whoa. Where is it? No. Preview, yep. That node and this Node.js are completely different. Okay. Memory saver provides checkpointing available in browser. Yeah, exactly. Interrupt counter tracks which interrupt call within the same node. Yeah. We can try to use this scratchpad object. I don't know why they're doing that. First execution, no resume. Interrupt counter is -1. Call interrupt. Increment to 0. Second execution. User calls graph.stream with a new command. The resume value is stored in pending writes. The node re-executes. The scratchpad is rebuilt. Call interrupt. Increment to 0. Check resume sub-0. Empty. Check null resume. What is this null? I'm going to need to ask it about this. Multiple interrupts in one node. First interrupt index equals 0. Yep. Okay. Interrupt browser.ts. Okay. Oh, good. So here's an implementation. Nice. Browser interrupt. Here's that runnable config. Maybe that's... Let's try that. Oops. Let's try this code. Yep. Let's try this runnable config. Maybe that's my data type. So that would be up here. Just paste. Okay, runnable config. Yep, let's try that. Is that a type? Is it not going to let me do that? Yep. All right, that's fine. Whoops. Okay. Graph interrupt, graph value error. I don't know about that. Pending write. Is that really a thing? Okay. Conf equals conf config.configurable. Let's definitely take that. That'll be useful. Okay, so there's the check pointer. Okay, so let's run. I kind of want to run this. Man, can I print this? I used to have a fun printing. That's fine. Let me just drink coffee. Okay. Let's run this in the browser and see what it's looking like. Nope. npm. Let's just run the proxy here. Okay. And let's get some browser UI going. Okay. Minimal standalone. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So that's my code. Let's see if it's working. Where is that? Oh, look, yay the interrupt. Okay, yay the interrupt was called. Okay. So here's my code. There's the config object. There's the conf object. Is that conf object compiled out? Yes. configurable. Oh, and then is runnable config. Okay. Let's try this. I'm going to take a risk here and make it do that. Runnable config. Let's try this. Any. Let's try that. And then this. Oh, look. Here's a config any. That's fine. No. Let's try this. Okay, save it. Let's see if that builds and runs. Okay. Reload. Okay. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right. So the idea is let's just open up the debugger and follow along. Let's see if I can kind of do it this way. Left and then right will be Visual Studio and then it'll be this preview. Stop it. Where's the preview? Here. Yes. Uh-huh. Perfect. Kind of like that. Let's just try it. It's going to be a mess. Let me just turn off my stuff because it's just obviously... How do I do it? Off, off, off. Yeah. Maybe I'll just keep the project link. Oh no, it's too big. Okay, so that's fine. Let's keep going. So... Oh, okay. Let me do one more change for convenience. That debugger. Let's do this. Like that. Save that. Okay, rerun that. Oops. Okay, perfect. So now I have my conf object. There it is. Here. So let's go read some code. What is it saying to do? So the check pointer, here it is. So let's say like CP equals conf sub, yeah, underscore pregle check pointer basically. So that's my check pointer, okay. Get a scratch pad. Oh, okay. So is there a scratch pad? Yes, there is. Pregle scratch pad. Whoa, interesting. Scratch pad equals conf sub pregle scratch pad. Okay, so I have a scratch pad. What in the world is a pregle scratch pad? Let's just see. It must be a thing. What in the world? Oh, it's like not. No, no, no. Oh. Whoa. Scratch pad memory. Very cool. Okay. Human in the loop and checkpoints. Each node inherits from March, not long ago. Correct. Key error. Okay. Oh. Oh, it's a discussion. Interesting. Okay. It's a discussion, not exactly an issue. I see. Cool. YHW. Very cool. Similar issue, I don't know, but I'm not having exactly the same issues, so that's okay. And I don't see much else. Okay, let's keep going. So I do have the scratchpad. So scratchpad.interrupt counter is already initialized for me. That's really nice. What in the world? Let's just go read that. Why? So here, let me just kill this for a moment. PD. So let's get out of the wiki. Let's go into the other project. LangGraph.js. Where are we main? Pull down the latest. Oh, okay. So grep-r. What do we want? Interrupt counter. Star. Algo.ts. And interrupt. So we read interrupt thoroughly. LangGraph source pregel algo. Interrupt counter. Okay, scratchpad, const scratchpad. Okay, so this is why it's just a random, it's not like documented. There's no like scratchpad data type for pregel, or there's just this kind of scratchpad that, okay, so then what is that? Return scratchpad? Pregel scratchpad function underscore scratchpad. Yikes. Current task input, resume map namespace. Well, this is nice to get this scratchpad. They've already initialized this stuff for me. Let's try it. So interrupt counter. So that is definitely a thing. We've got an interrupt counter. Okay. Is that scratchpad applied to like each node? Like it's not clear to me. But that's okay. Scratchpad.resume. Yeah, find the previous resume values. Okay. So these are the previous resume values. So IDX is scratchpad.interrupt counter. Okay. So we could do something like this. Scratchpad.interrupt counter plus equals 1. And then we could say IDX equals scratchpad.interrupt counter. Okay, fine, IDX. So scratchpad.resume. Okay, good. So it's just an array. Okay, this isn't bad. So if it's there, write it back to the channel. So config key send. I wonder what that is. Pregel underscore send. Oh. Oh wow, it's a callable, looks like. Pregel. Yeah, it's a call, it's a function. Uh-huh. Dot. And then what is this? I see. So it's a list of one object, and that one object is this pending write. Yikes. Uh-huh. Let's go back. I like it better here. Pending write. And that pending write is like a two tuple, you know, a tuple of two objects. What in the world is this resume key? No idea. Wow, okay. So, and it passes it in. Okay, so that's how you send it. Write it back to the channel. Okay, we'll try that. Find previous resume values. Okay, so let's go implement this in the real code and I'll have more to work on. Because this is all basically working. So let's go implement it and we'll drop back into the debugger. What is that? Let's get back into here. Maximize. Let's go into the interviewer and do it. So there's my config object. What do I want to copy over? Here, okay. Let's take a lot of this. Browser interrupt. Runnable config. Value I, We could try some of this. So let's not export. Value I config is a runnable config. Yeah. And it returns that R type. Okay. We'll try that. Now, but that's value, right? Instead of message. Let's say value. That's fine. Okay. Why is that a problem? Possibly undefined? No, let's say it must be defined, yes. Okay. All right. All objects. Okay. Kind of get rid of some of these here. Okay, so what else do they want? Let's try just taking a lot of this. Check for check pointer, scratchpad, IDX. Let's basically take all this code here. Find current resume value from command, yeah. Let's just take it all for a second. Yeah, it's not bad. All right, so then back over in the real code. Here's the config. I just paste it. Okay. If there's no configurable, right? So this yay can go away, it's fine. Okay. Okay, check for the check pointer, right? So I'm gonna take that code here. It's not totally solved, but let's just go steal all of this. This is good. Not exported, so we hard code them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're not exported. I could maybe find them though. Okay. Perfect. Yep. So. Okay, so here's my interviewer. Right. I think I actually kind of write the resume array back to the channel. Resume, right. Yeah, exactly. Can I do that? As pending. Can I do that? And so then I won't need this object. It can be a list of, yeah, exactly. Just separate it a little. Right. Yep. Right. Okay, just make it explicit so I can step through it and make sure it's fine. Oh, sender, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's fine. I'll kind of keep it. I don't need that. We'll stop there. Okay. Let's just make it stop. All right. So there's scratchpad stuff. We could throw the debugger like here. Well, checkpointer. Let's put the debugger. I don't know. Here. All right. So keep going. So we haven't computed any. What I don't understand is it hasn't computed any. Find the current resume value. Find previous resume values. So what is null? Oh, null. Okay, null resume. Weird. Null resume. I see. So there's a scratchpad.null resume. Do I have this here? sp.null resume. Okay. So if it's not undefined. Okay, cool. So if it's defined, then right. Why does everyone love doing that? Okay. Okay, perfect. That's fine. Otherwise, consume it. Okay, cool. And then we push it onto the, okay, weird. So we consume it from, I don't know why. Okay, I'll keep it. Geez, I would not have written this code myself, but we'll try it. So this scratchpad seems to have already provided my like unique ID, all that stuff I've been talking about. Maybe the scratchpad is kind of doing that. I want to keep going. Okay, find previous resume values. Let me just copy all the, find current resume values, find previous resume values from earlier runs. Find current resume value. Here it is, the null resume. Oh, I edited the wrong code. Okay. Fine. So we could kind of do the same thing, right? Const pending right equals resume. Yeah, I guess so. Whoops. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we could do that. Let's just keep it parallel. Actually, let me just block it out. So this will be pending writes, and it can have, that's fine. Okay. So is that the same command there, same code there, pending writes. So we'll write them out. Yes. And then we return V. Okay, so we send it. Okay, fine. And then we return it. Okay, return V as R. Okay. No resume value, throw an interrupt. Okay. Here. Let's read the code. No resume value, throw an interrupt. Okay. conf.checkpoint_ns. Cool. That's my ID. Wonderful. Okay. So it's saying the namespace. Right. And we're going to use this ID. Okay. Let me do this. I want to take like a 2-minute break. I'm going to get this cleared out. So let me make this thing do that, and then take like a 2-second break. Ooh, nice. Let's just restart. Whoops. Okay. All right. Thank you. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I will take 2 seconds here to step away and let this generate. Okay. All right. Still generating. Good. I'll just let it generate. Let's test audio. Can't believe people are watching the stream. I don't know who is. Okay. I'll just let it generate. Yep, audio works. Okay. Cool. So let's keep going. Let me like click myself off actually and just like concentrate. So this is good. So I don't know what this XXH3 is. I don't know if this is going to be available to me. Hash.js XXH3. It's not going to work. Now I did have. What is XXH3? Is that a hash function? XX hash. Extremely fast non-cryptographic. Oh, cool. Oh, awesome. Oh, cool. Well, I'd love to pull that in. So it generates hashes that are non-cryptographic, okay. Let me think, because I can probably pull in all sorts of hashing functions. What do I want to do? Okay. Graph interrupt, node interrupt, and I think it should be node interrupt, right? That's the problem. That's what I saw in the like code yesterday. All right. Oh, and then let's implement this XXH3. All right, let's just at least have it call and work. That's fine. Okay. And then we can figure out what hash function later. Oh, I bet there's already one available. I bet I'm already using one. So if I could reuse it here. So, okay. And it doesn't have to not be cryptographically secure. It has to be convenient for a developer. Okay. So I think that's fine. I have my debugging statement. Let's just debug this and see what it looks like. Save. Does it even build? Oh, nice. Got some cookbooks. Okay. Let's just see if it even builds. All right, it builds. Oh yeah, I got to start my PD make. Yeah. All right. Start my LLM. Thank you. Reload. Good. Okay. And let me just tweak the, what is that test? It's this minimal standalone. Let's just tweak this. Instead of a mouse hiding from a cat, let's try this. A robot who starts all, hey Google, stop. All conversations, conversate with the word boop, right? Beep. Yeah, exactly. Beep. Okay, so that's beep. Let's see if I can fix this. Robot. No, a terse interviewer. Right. And then could I do like dot trait? So if that's the trait, the point is I just want to speed up this render here. Yeah, perfect. I think I saved myself a tiny amount of time. So if I go and look at my proxy, right? Do I see actual payload? I guess not, right? No, I don't see any payload. TER. TERS. Oh. Whoa. Cool. But that's the, ooh, nice. Thank you for not exposing my token. OpenAI. Oh, wow. Very good. Very good. So that terseness should be in there then. Yeah, a terse interviewer. Uh-huh. Traits and characteristics. Speaks in as few words as possible. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But I don't see the return, do I? Raw response. Finish reason. Wait. Ah, perfect. There it is. Hello, name, age. Wonderful. So that's faster. The point is just faster. I want to debug this faster. So when I run it, I want it to be fast here. I'm waiting for it to render out some tokens for me, right? I say render, I don't know. I'm waiting for it to compute me some tokens. Super awesome. Okay. Let's see what in the heck they're talking about here. This seems bizarre. Let's go read that. So why? Here's the interviewer. Oh, browser interrupt. Oh, yeah. So let's just change that to interrupt. And go again. I'll rebuild it. Oh, you know what I could really do? This is actually real. I can say things are working in TS browser stuff. I can run, let me just paste it, the command that I run here. Boom. Which builds a standalone, which builds things and works in the standalone HTML, TypeScript, /examples, stand browser, minimal, okay. So that's good. Then what? Then what? How can we make things? Give me some plans. Yeah, let's put it in planning mode. Proposals for how to make it auto recompile to accelerate the development loop. The developer, the core development loop, right? Oh my God, terminal setup. Thank you. I'm going to do that. That's a great idea. I've been looking, Shift Enter has been driving me crazy. This backslash has been driving me crazy for ages. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, let's let it think about how we might improve this loop, because I'm doing a full rebuild, every time. It's great progress. It's just 2 days ago, I think, that the first time ever I had a Chatfield, like message, an AI message, let's say, rendered on the browser. So I'm happy with the velocity, but there could be, you're talking about like orders of 2, 3, orders of 10 kind of magnitude improvements that you can get as a developer by tightening up that core, like I told it, this core developer loop here. Okay, good. I'll read this in a second. Vite. Okay. Vite dev server. Yeah, that's a good idea. So there's a lot of ideas here. So, okay, so let's keep it. So then I just refresh. Perfect. Perfect. So here's the value, name and age. Wonderful. So here's my configurable. So let's step over a little bit. So there's my check pointer. There it is. Let me I can make it even smaller. Okay. So here's my check pointer. Cool. Very cool. Keep going. So here's my scratch pad. Awesome. We increment the the interrupt counter. Let's see it. Scratch pad. Interrupt counter is, it better be -1. Okay, -1. Perfect. So then 0. Good. All right. So there should be no resume. Okay, so this will come out false. So this will be skipped. Okay. And is this null resume? Is that it seems to me that that's sort of that's like the hot seat, right? That's like the currently in queued. It's a little strange to me that it's like one object and not a queue of them or something, but so It's like the object for the resume to pick up. It's like a special place. Like rather than add it here, it's placed in this special place, null resume on this scratch pad, right? So if it is defined, which I am not. Yeah, okay, I'm not. So that's going to come out false. Skip it. Wonderful. So there's my namespace. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier this morning, my namespace. Go. And then was my ID computed? Is the ID being computed? Why is it returning? Oh, it's skipped. Yikes. Oh, interesting. They're passing in this ID right to this graph interrupt object. Let me go read the source code. I think that node interrupt object also, actually, yeah, let me go read that source code. Where can I do that? Can I do that here? Save. That should totally work. Why is that not working? Conflict? Let's jump to it. No, but that's fine. I remember the source code. I know the LangGraph source code a little bit. LangGraph, was it core? No. It's LangGraph. Yes. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. It's compiled out. Let's just jump to it. So I think that's why I had this working here. Yeah. So view source, what? View, was it libs find dot name interrupts? Is it plural? Libs / LangGraph source lint. Right. So this is the real. Whoops. This is the. Come here. This is the real one. And what I want to know is, what do they throw? They throw a graph interrupt. Ouch. Okay. All right. They throw a graph interrupt. Now, I wrote myself a note somewhere. Here? Yeah, look at all this. Let me just click on all this. Dynamic breakpoints. Yep. So he says throw a node interrupt. Jacob Lee. It rhymes. Jacob Lee 93. So Jacob says throw a node interrupt. And it's unsupported. Yeah. And so here, when they teach me dynamic interrupts, where do we throw? Let me search. Throw. Here it is. Node interrupt. And then that's just a string. All right. Okay. So this is the only throw in the entire example here. Node interrupt. Okay. Where else? So then there's this other thing. Is this the same code to find the... Oh, it's the same code. Okay. Yeah, I remember there was extensive, like tons and tons of warnings, and there'd be dragons and waving me off like in every way possible. They told me don't do this, and I'm doing it anyway. The thing is, reading their code and reading comments from the developers and advice from the developers. Sung hero here, Jacob Lee 93, wonderful. Despite them saying extensively like this is, don't do this, it is obviously the correct thing to do for my circumstance. Like it's even as clearly as they say don't do it, they say even more clearly this is how this must be done in your circumstance. I mean, that is literally, when he says you, he's talking to me and others in the community to say use this interrupt mechanism to update your state. Or sorry, use this interrupt mechanism and then update the state, right? Now, the only problem is No. No, this looks like Python here. No. No, no, no. Gosh, as usual, I'm searching for stuff that's not on the internet. It's disconcerting. Look, AI says, I don't want to talk to you. Wow. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, it's being bro. Okay. Async hooks, what? Web entry point. Okay. So let's close things. So node interrupt and node interrupt. So, but if I read the real implementation, they throw graph interrupt. So I'm going to throw graph interrupt too. I'm going to read, this is what I mean. The documentation says don't do it, and the source code says do it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So we're doing it. Source code says do it, do it. So that's what we're doing. So we have this ID and value, and I don't want to read this implementation of graph interrupt. I want to cross my fingers and hope it works right. Because if it passes the test suite kind of thing, if it works end to end, the stakes are kind of low. You know, this is brand new. In fact, I need to like split this off. This could be a potential its own NPM package. Is, hey, you want to interrupt LangGraph on the browser? Here's your polyfill, basically. Here's your implementation. Here's your package. Totally sensible. In fact, I think I've done searches. I've done extensive searches, you know, in this area, I think. So, what are we doing? So I'm taking this code. I'm keeping this code. We're doing graph interrupt. We're doing graph interrupt. Yes, we're doing that. So ID equals ID, value equals value. Okay. So let me turn myself on and keep going. Okay. So let's debug through this. I think it's working. I'm moving real slow for one thing, just because not in the mood to rush almost ever on this project. And secondly, though, I feel like we can more or less get this right on the first try if I just kind of like measure twice, cut once. All right, no resume value. Throw the interrupt, right? So let's say scratchpad. Let's definitely say here. Yeah, here. Okay. Because all that data initializes properly for now. It's kind of janky, but it's fine. What's going on here? Oh, really? Let's just save it and see what happens. Go. Vita. Okay. Good. Connection refused. Okay. Bring it back online. PD make. All right. All right. So value is name and age. Wonderful. All right, let's see. So everything should be null and like empty, of course, because it's the first run through. So that's false. That's also false. Okay, well, if I want to proceed, I have to actually implement this hash function. What in the world is this thing? Let me see if I can step in. Can I step in? Yes. Okay, so this is bad. So let's go solve this. I need to either pull this function out of the implementation. I don't know if that's going to be easy. So I'm reusing this window a bunch, but or let's see. What is that? XXH3? Right. Accumulate hash. Whoa, they have tests for it. Hash.ts. So interrupt obviously pulls it in. That's what I've been reading. Fraggle. XXH3. Okay, hash.ts. Yeah, I saw that already. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. What is this? Interviewer? Yeah. So I don't want that. New. So that'll be langchain / langgraph / what? Let's just try that. Does that work? No. No. Oh, I know. It'll be exported explicitly because it's nice TypeScript. It's not janky JavaScript anymore. Function, no. Let's just go read that hash implementation. I bet you they just import something. Yeah, let's just glance at that. Oh, I need to take some medicine. I almost forgot. Let me go off and grab my medicine. And I should do way more coffee. What time is that? Hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can pull this off. So we're reading the implementation, BSD2 clause. Okay. Whoa. Okay. All right. So if this is difficult to import, which it looks like it is, it's just a random. It's just a bunch of. It's just at least as I see it, it was not imported in. They implement all sorts of. Right. Yeah. No import, no require. Yeah. This is a totally standalone, like pure JavaScript, or pure TypeScript, I should say, implementation. So that's wonderful, but that's not what I need. So the point was, so if let me switch to TypeScript, right? So if I go npm ls, right? So here, if I do this, like if I look for any kind of like hash, let's say, let's do this. Hash. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, whatever that is. Okay, what about like MD, or how about SHA? Can I go down? Woo. Okay, that's bad. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, good. I'm not seeing anything, like nothing's jumping out. My hope was, oh, let me just pull something that's already needed. And nothing's jumping out at me. So that's fine. That just means I can pull in anyone that I want, Babel. Roll up. With all this, I was looking for MD5 stuff. RC4, right? Yeah, no shot. Okay, so then let me ask maybe okay. Ooh. Let me start a new one. Because we're in the middle of a conversation here. Oh, I know what I can do. I can return to it later. Yeah, I can. Oh, XXH3, is that what it's called? Yeah, XXH3. I don't know why I'm asking passive aggressively with a can I, but I think it's just, let's just look, npm aj, right? H3, no framework. No, actually, no. Let's not do that. Like SHA 2D6 or something, or SHA. Yeah, there we go. Crypto-js, 3KB minified, alternative, oh, I see. JS-SHA-2D6, let's try that. So that'll be a runtime dependency. Whoops, that'll work. Okay. And then we'll import that. That's what it's telling me. Yep. Let's try that. Copy. Paste. Like that. Yep. And then it's telling me this code right here is going to work. So let's try that. That'll be great if that works. So this XX, it would be SHA-256. Yes. Or undefined. That's it. So let's try that. So, and then that'll pull in the bundle, but it's 3 kilobytes bundled, like they said, or whatever. So let's try that. Run the proxy. Uh-oh, wait, is it throwing errors to me? Comma expected. Whoa. Oh, yeah. I have like syntax errors. Whoa, yikes, I have a huge syntax error. How's that possibly working? What is that doing? I can't believe that built. Maybe it didn't. Oh, look. So what is it complaining to me? Oh, it's also unhappy. Okay. Why? Interrupt. Don't save. Where'd that pending write come from? Oh, there it is. Oh, nice. Let's go pull that in and see if that works. Port type. Oh, nice. Are you happy now? Okay. No. What do you... Oh, can I find name? Oh, okay. Let's go see about that. Node error. Node interrupt, yeah. And then graph value error. Cool. Let's try that. Graph value error. Wonderful. Let's try that. Really cold. Coffee. Okay, we're left with the mere triviality of the circular dependencies, which has been annoying me since time immemorial. So let's carry on. Close it. Go. I just need to hash these strings together. In fact, I don't even know why I'm hashing them. I should just like, for debugging purposes, actually, I should be not hashing them because it's already a string. Why am I converting a string to a string? Yeah, I think I might take this out. I'm not thinking. Okay. No. No. Yes. Right? So the namespace right now is this nice, tidy thing, and then we SHA it. Why? Okay. Just to give it an ID? No. Yeah, I'm taking it out. It's nice though. Let's do it this way. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you. So I'll keep it here, but I'm gonna do it just right for right now. It's just this. Like that. Or I could do it like this maybe. Hash namespace, right? We could do it like that. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Perfect. But we could take that SHA-256 implementation. I know this is bonkers. And so then it would be something like this, right? Yeah, exactly. And we comment it out. Exactly. Or we can just do this. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So the point of it is to just remind me the next time I'm in this bit of the code base, what in the world I was thinking, you know? And the answer is, I'm kind of trying to copy and paste a little bit here and not break things. I'm trying to put together two bits of code that I'm not deeply familiar with, you know, each. Okay, so that's the point. Like that, hash it. So then we hash it. Good. Good. And then we throw it. Okay. So that's the point. All right, let's run it again. It should be more or less the same. Come on, Schwartz. Let me turn off my fan. It's driving me crazy. It's so cold. Hold on. Oh, God. So cold. Freezing. Where I'm from in Louisiana, where it's hot in the United States, it's considered a hot place. When it's like this is like 20 degrees Celsius right now, something like that. 22 maybe. A little chilly. We say freezing where I'm from. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I've kind of copied the way let me check make sure my audio is good. Yeah. Where I'm from. Yeah, I think it's good. So I've copied as much as possible from the old from the, let's say, official implementation of the interrupt function, Well, and then Claude Code, I say copy and paste. Claude Code like ingested all this and then uh, generated this more or less. So it's kind of doing the same thing. But I kind of love it because I thought today I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning thinking I'm going to be computing a primary key as some sort of namespace, some sort of thing. I've done it 1,000 times. It's just tedious. And the answer is I believe this Scratchpad is already done that. This Scratchpad has already been scoped for what I need, with the exception. So the Scratchpad is scoped to my node, but then the interrupt counter, that's my, that's the content of the Scratchpad. So I love it. Okay, let's just, I don't know, like restart. So cold. I need to drink some coffee. Okay, so reload. Come on, Schwartz. Okay. Let's do this just for fun. The interviewer always starts sentences with the word, no, what is it? No way. With the preface, no way, like Taskmaster. Okay. So then if we do that, rebuild it. Oh, I don't need to rebuild it. I don't need to rebuild it. That's just my HTML. That's just my HTML for my web app. That's my app that I'm a developer of, Okay, hey Google, stop. Okay. So let's see it. Go. So if I look at my variables, no way, what's your name and age? Cool. Okay, so it's all working. Just gotta interrupt properly. We've got the, what that means is quite a lot of plumbing has happened. Obviously the entire LLM's been queried, so that's awesome. And then it's responding to the prompt basically. I said, say no way, and it said no way, so that's good. So I've effectively pinged it with a little challenge. So that's good. And then the point is it's plumbed all the way back, like it's very nearly time to return this string back to the broader application, back to the to the larger application, back to the caller. Strictly speaking, back to the caller of that go function. They said go, and it's supposed to return back, no way, what's your name and age? And then they say go, and so on. So we're super close, so let's go. So this is going to be empty. It's going to go all the way to the bottom. So finally, this is just going to run. So then the ID's been no opt. I did a ton of work to no opt. And so we're going to throw. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what happens. So so I shouldn't see the throw. 1, 2, 3, go. No way. What's your name and age? Okay. Ah, I think I know. It said, uh-oh, be careful of an infinite loop. I think I'm in an infinite loop. And then I saw my own infinite loop yesterday, but now I remember why. At some point there's in the documentation, they said, you got to change your state or you're going to get stuck in an infinite loop. So I think that's what's happening. Maybe. Okay, good. Resume. Wait, what? No, it's undefined. How do we get in here? Oh, we consumed it. Oh, we consumed it. Oh, into this V object? Null. Okay. Woo! Let's go look where. So close out Chatfield. Where is it? Here. Let's see. Okay, so here's where we await. Boom. If I break here and rerun. So here's where. So the user input's null. and then we step one time. It might stop me because I have the debugger in there. Yeah. Okay, let's get it. Let's tighten it up. Let's tighten it up. Okay. Tomorrow plan. Thank you. Is there any more? I copied this code and there's a ton of more plan. Throw. Oh, web.ts. Okay, don't care. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Very good. Preview. Okay. Let's get this out of here. Good. Save it. Go. All right. So, very cool. No way. Okay. Reload. Okay, so, oops. Yeah, presumably that's working. So if I step over, cool. Very cool. So this is progress. This is massive progress. This is nice. So far, everything's working in the execution path. So it's Cyrano de Bergerac, right? It's, you say go, and the interviewer says, all right, tell this message to your user. And then now my application, oh God, I'm shivering. It's so cold. My application needs to render this, which I do. But then my application, so yeah, my bug is obviously here. My bug is obviously right here. This is awesome. So, okay, so let's append it. And the user input, we need to like compute that. Totally. So let's just start simple. The point is not that this minimal HTML survive. This is like, again, like scaffolding, weaving that one thread end to end and using that to pull the string and using the string to pull the rope and using the rope to pull the cable. That's the metaphor. And so what I'm trying to do, so this is going to be, I'm going to turn nasty code into nastier code a little bit. We're just going to do it like this. Like input text array, yeah, exactly. Let's not have an ID. Let's not have an ID for a moment. I don't want to get in trouble on ID collisions. Whoa. Oh, ID. Delete. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so because I've only changed my HTML, I should be able to rerun. It's gonna await there. Let's definitely do that. Oh, now instead of hooray here, let's say like AI. Let's just do that. Save. It'll be a little more clear. So, I mean, I want the minimal, like this, none of this UI is any good. So because it's throwaway UI, I want it minimal here. Okay. Right. No, we don't want to call, right. No. Okay, good. So there's the user input. Where is that user input? So you could say it's null. You could call it one time. And then you could update stuff. I could almost do like a while true here. Right? And then do it down here, right? So then if no, what is that? What's my object? User input? No, not user input. What am I thinking? What is that? Form. Yeah, breakout. Exactly. Breakout. Breakout. So that's the while true. If we're done, then we'll break out. You know what I could even play with that might be, well, that's fine. So if we're done, then we'll break out. But then we actually need to break out like anyway, or I need to make this a callback. I need to, okay, yeah, let me just incrementally improve this. So, because in the fullness of time, I want a React component that has state and just does it kind of properly for the moment. Even like jQuery is looking advanced to what I'm about to write. So hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna race the timer. I'm gonna race the clock. So if we're not done, then, oh, you know what I might be able to do would be await some user input since I'm already asynchronous. Could we just do like this? Basically. And then what would that look like? Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, return a promise. Fine. Output.query selector. Where'd you get that output? Oh, there it is. Where'd you get that output object? I don't even know my own code. Oh, document.get on. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Output. Okay, got it. Oops. Stop. Reload. Okay. Did I put it? Okay, so there's my text area. Okay, so it queries it. Add event listener. Yikes. Okay, that's decent. Let's like try that. That's kind of decent. That's good and that's fine. So I'll let it go. No way. Hey, more progress. Cool. Bob. No, let's not do Bob. Basically any name except Bob is the worst name to use possible. How about Albert? And I press return. Okay, so that's a bug, but I don't care. What is my user input gonna be? A string? Okay. I don't know if it'll work for, if this worked, that would mean all that brand new code that I copied and pasted that I didn't quite totally understand would have to work flawlessly. So I think it's unlikely, but let's step over. Let's step over. Okay. What is the message? Oh my God, it worked. Oh my God, it worked. Oh, it totally worked. How are you, Albert? Yes. Yes, totally worked. Oh God, it's working. It's working. It's working. Oh my God. It's working. Okay, let's see it. Play. No way. How old are you, Albert? So let's stop this breakpoint and talk to it. It is a prime number, and I am old enough to, but I'm, oh, wait, I pressed return. Nothing happened. Maybe I have a bug. Okay. Let's reload. What is your name and age? Okay, age is like 50. Wait, what? How is this thing supposed to work? Enter. Yeah. Oh, weird. No way. What's your name? Oh, I may need to input here, like, That's how that works. Okay. Did it break out? It might break out. Where did it crash? 45. Cool. Form.values is not. Oh, yeah. This works. This works. Let me like check this in. This basically deserves a totally different branch practically because it's so janky. This is cool though. So tomorrow plan is done. Woo! Let's check this in. This is basically a different branch though. Browser. All right, let's do it here. So, let's go to TypeScript. This is awesome. Rollup.config just has notes to myself, so I don't care. Package.json. Oh, so I'm going to say no. Hey, Google, stop. Package lock. I'm going to pull that out. All right, next. Examples. Yes. Okay, so commit all that. Chatfield. Chatfield and examples. Like barely working browser interrupts. Totally. They barely work. All right, so then what we do, triple click, copy paste. What we do is write up some notes. Isn't so bad. No, it's not. Implementing my interrupt, like sort of working. Now, for all I know, there's bugs on the front end. That front end UI was ridiculous, and so it is not the case that it's bug free. It is not known. Let me keep all these links. I'm going to want to document this with as much information as I learned to do this. I've not seen browser interrupt for LangGraph. I've just not seen, and yeah, I mean videos. No, I want a GitHub project. I want an npm package. I want an npm package that does browser interrupt. No, right? This is not browser. Pip install, no way. No. So that's awesome. This could be its own npm package. So I want to keep all this. Super bad code checked into interview.ts, needs to interrupt properly and just work. Currently it totally breaks. This is awesome. Also, it needs aliasing or something to use. Okay, so here's the point. Working, at least in some cases. And I'm really happy too. The documentation says, oh, start this with a null object everywhere. I closed it all. In the LangGraph, all that stuff about dynamic breakpoints, they say, oh, null. You got to call null. You got to pass null. Yeah. Nope. That's a log. That's, yes, right here. They said you got to call null. You got to pass null. We pass null. But I don't do that. In other places of the documentation, it says, no, you got to make a command, right? Yeah, you got to do a command. That's how you restart a graph in LangGraph is a command with a resume. And now look, I can update the state, right? So that's good. So the way I see it, the things I learned, they said, well, don't get in an infinite loop, update your state, which I kind of am, because when the user says a message, it does update the state. So that's good. We can test how that's working. I have no idea if this thing's calling, we're just gonna have to see if this thing's calling methods and stuff like that. But calling tools properly. So this is how I see it working, where they said, no, you got to do null. I will not do null. So I'll do this command, but it seemed to be working. So let's keep going. So let's check stuff in. That's fine. Oh yeah. So then in my notes to myself, working. Yeah, once it works, it needs aliasing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let me just tighten that up. Need to alias that LangGraph entry point. Yes, we do. Perfect. So we're going to pop out of the stack really soon now. So let me save that and do a wrap up. So now that I've saved some stuff, let's just do this. Not yet unread. All right. So I'll push that up. So, oops, that's in the browser branch, whatever. So, let's do it. Claude, wrap up. Okay, daily development diary. That's right. Let's drink some coffee and make Claude Code do my job. Claude Code don't love coffee like I love coffee. Okay. Yes. Uncommitted changes. Plan for tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just go pull it up. It's going to be ready soon. Close it. Go wiki. So today's the 8th. Whoops. Perfect. 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 You always get it wrong, Claude Code. Yeah, you better check the current working directory. You better PWD. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You never learn. Okay. 8th. So what we got done is the mechanism to do human in the loop in LangGraph just quite simply has not got an obvious or a well-known, or certainly not an NPM package sort of procedure or implementation. And today, at least within Chatfield, we do. It follows the implementation of the server side LangGraph, the so-called interrupt process. However, it's working on the browser in, you can imagine like a lower stakes. That's how I see it, a lower stakes kind of circumstance, because it's browser state. If it were deeply important, this would be server side, is kind of how I see it. So I think there's a lot of really excellent low stakes applications for Chatfield. So that's great. It's just kind of barely working. And then there's a massive cookbook that I made Claude Code generate when I had to step out of the room. And so tomorrow we're going to be doing more. Yes. Basically I don't know what this investigate is, but the point is get the interrupt implementation that I just described just kind of done and good enough, let's say passing the test suite or passing the examples of the use cases that I need. At least for now, that's the point. And then having done that, I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward matter of telling rollup to replace or to insert or to replace or whatever the interrupt code correctly, so that on the server side it's running the built-in LangGraph mechanism, and then on the browser side it's running my polyfill or whatever you want to say. And then similarly, just a tiny kind of similar thing to get the entry points working. So then from one code base, it's all building and working. It's working on the browser. It's using my different mechanism on the browser, but in an identical way. All of the code works. And the upshot is you can chat with Chatfield in a browser application now. From, this is the worst possible implementation you could imagine to get things tested. But this works. I said, say no way, and it says no way. So this all works. It speaks with you. So that's a huge, huge, huge promise. I mean, let me just go. If I just go to the very beginning, the first paragraph is 2 languages, server and browser. This lister. That's the fun part. So that's happening. So let me log out. That's all awesome. Let me push it. I think it's all pushed up. Good. Thank you.